My talk this week is called The Seasons of Change. And my point on this talk is that change is inevitable, and how we embrace that change makes all the difference in whether it's smooth or how rough those waters get. That it is in our embracing of the change that is absolutely inevitable that we can work with that change internally in who we are, in our deeper voice that allows it to speak in a way that can help us surf those changes. You know, I have had lots of folks come to me and tell me how much they hate their job and they're going to quit. And I'm like, well, have you asked for what it is you wanted at your job that would make it so you didn't hate it? And they go, no, my boss would never give me that. My boss is yada, yada, yada. I got to quit. I'm like, but have you asked for what it is you wanted? No. Well, then how do you know? Because if you're a good employee, you're valuable, that value means something and can translate into you getting what you want. Now, most people who have come to me and said they're going to quit their job don't, because then they got to go find another job. They just stay with it as it is and misery. When change is absolutely possible and clearly yearning inside, coming forth out of something within you that is calling forth for change, and you have translated, or that person who is talking to me has translated that change into something drastic, like quit your job. When in fact, it could be something completely different. There's having a job you're miserable at, and all the way in this other scale over here is quitting your job. There is a myriad of possibilities in the middle that most people never even check out. Now, everybody who has taken the time to work with me around this particular thing, every single person who has ever worked with me around this particular thing around being miserable with their work has been awestruck by how much they could get out of their job they had no idea they could get. Because the thing is if you're willing to quit, then what's the difference between setting yourself up to, if they don't like your new demands or how you want to do it and you get fired, well, you're in the same spot, right? Quit, fired, you're in the same spot, you're over here, you got all this room in the middle that could change if you were willing to make a stand for what it was you really wanted. Because if you're miserable, there's change bubbling up in you that wants to occur, that wants you to make a stand for that change. And so in your fear, you're jumping to conclusions that you haven't even checked out yet. And when I say you, maybe you haven't. Maybe you are one of these people who are really good about simply saying, this is what I want. And if it's okay with you, then we can continue to work together. If not, I'm probably going to move on. Because change is a-coming. One way or the other. And that's the thing about change. Change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. And how we embrace it, grow with it, love with it within ourselves is really what allows for it to blossom instead of being something miserable. But most of the time, all the time, when we start to feel miserable, bored, anything else about where we are, change is a-coming. We just don't know what it looks like yet. And we get stuck on what it looks like instead of the quality of the new change that can arise. Because something can arise that we never even thought of. That's the beauty of possibilities. change for many of us is hard, really hard. I mean, even small change. The other day, Ash and I found out that our electricity in our building was being turned off at 8 a.m. the next morning and wasn't going to be on until 4 p.m. that night. Now, Ash works out of home. That wasn't going to work. So we thought, why not have her come here? Work out of my office. We could share my office and work together. And we thought, what's the big deal? But boy, the two of us got so stressed because we have our routines, we have our way of doing things, and we were bumping against each other. Well, this isn't in my routine. She's here, she's in my space in my office. I mean, it's my wife and I love her, but she's in my space, man. And I'm having to share that space now. And she's over there and she's saying, you got to be quiet because I'm doing this, and I got to be this because you got to be that. And we're just trying to work the thing out. And we started laughing at one point, realizing how much we were stressing ourselves and each other out over this incredibly simple change that we both realized we needed a lot more adaptability to. And then by the end of the day, we were laughing. We had it was really fun. We had a really fun day working together, in space, and it didn't start out that way. Change is hard, and it's up to us to take a look at that. And so what we committed to, both of us, is being more adaptable with change, embracing change better, doing better around change, because change is inevitable. Stuff like that happens. You get a diagnosis. Your boss calls you in and goes, I'm sorry, I got to let you go, and you didn't know it was coming. Now, a lot of times, just to speak on the subject of you didn't know it was coming, there are signs. Most of the time, we notice them after the fact. Boy, you go, geez, I saw all the signs and I didn't pay attention. My brother just had a heart attack, right? He's okay. He went in, had another stent put in, still refuses to change his diet or pretty much anything else. But what he talked about was all the signs he saw ahead of time that he didn't pay attention to until all of a sudden he's on the ground dialing 911 in his office at work. Got to the hospital in time. They took care of him. He's already home. He's already back to work. There are signs. The thing about it is each of us has an early warning system built into our being. And it's up to us to get better at recognizing it, and then not just recognizing it, but actually listening and then doing something with that information. My brother, he had lots of warning signs that he recognized and just chose not to do anything with. And then all of a sudden, boom, drastic change. He has a heart attack. So listening to your early warning systems is really important. I personally am really good at watching for small changes, because it has come to light to me that if I miss the small changes, bigger changes are coming. So over the years, I've gotten better and better at looking for the small changes and noticing them and asking about them and wondering and being curious. Being curious about change instead of flipping out about it is a much better approach to getting things in order before drastic change happens. Change is inevitable. The better we get at working with it, surfing it, embracing it, and not ignoring, being the kings and queens of denial, is how we can work with this stuff so that it goes through us in a way that allows us to surf it so that it works. So that it works. There is absolutely no situation in life that doesn't have a way of working, when we are willing to embrace it and look for that. And the best way to do that is with our early warning system. Instead of sitting there afterwards going, geez, I saw all these signs and I just didn't do anything. So if your boss calls you in and says the company's, in trouble and I'm going to have to lay you off, if you didn't see the early warnings of signs of that, you were asleep at the wheel. If things are going on where you're starting to feel that surge in you of change, I need something different here. Instead of getting drastic about, I'm quitting my job, I'm leaving this relationship, I'm moving to another city, I'm moving to another country. Be curious. Be curious about what's bubbling up in you. Be curious. Curiosity is an incredible, incredible facet that we have in us, to be curious about what's around the next corner. Because it can be exciting. Change can be so exciting if we are curious. And it doesn't matter, what that change is going to be. Whether it's the beginning of life, the end of life, or all those parts in between. The more curious we can be. My mom, near the end, was so curious about what was possible to do with her last 6 months that she had a ball with it, an absolute ball. There are those of us around here who are like, wow, I want to be like her. I want to do it like she did it. That's what's possible when, instead of freaking out and getting all stressed out about change, what we do is we actually get curious and go, okay, there's something here. I feel something bubbling in me. There's something new emerging. Let me not jump to conclusions as to what that might be. Let me simply be curious, and in that way, see the possibilities that arise. One of the things I've noticed for myself is that where I used to care about how things looked, now I care how things feel, the quality of them. I don't care at all about how things look, at all. It doesn't matter to me. It matters, am I feeling joy about my life? Am I expressing and receiving and being in joy and wonder and love in life? And if I'm loving life, what do I care what's going on? What do I care about the circumstances? What I notice is when I get my fingers in the gears and say, I need it to look like this. I need this to happen. For me to be happy, I need this to happen. That's when things get really screwy for me, and maybe for you too. That's what this is all about, is checking in with ourselves. How deeply are you checking in on a daily basis? I'm talking about, I check in a lot, all day. How's this going for me? How am I feeling about this? What's true for me now? So that I'm not kidding myself, I'm not in denial, and I'm open to the possibilities that are happening now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, now. Now, does that mean I never feel any regret or anxiety about the future? No, I go through that stuff. I just know how silly it is. I feel those things, but then I laugh at myself. I go, come on, I know better than that. I know that all I got is right here and now. That's all there is right here and now, in this moment. How curious can I be about the truth about me and the truth about my circumstances now? And the truth is never how they appear. It's always deeper. So it's up to us to take a look at that. to be willing to go deeper. So, for 5 years, I've been out here talking about wanting a dog. 5 years. And then all of a sudden, about a week ago, something changed around that. Something shifted, and I noticed it, and it was slight. It wasn't like big. It wasn't like explosive. It was small. But there was something going on there. And all of a sudden, I started feeling it about now might be a good time to have a dog. And so, being curious, I started questioning myself, why now? And the only answer I got was because now's a good time. Now's the right time. So I began a little search. I'm thinking, okay, well, I could just begin the search, just start looking. Nothing serious, just look around. So I get on the internet and I go to, look at the rescue centers because I've always had mutts, rescue dogs, that kind of thing. And so I get on the internet and I go to the website for the rescue center, and it's not user-friendly at all. And I'm trying to figure this thing out, and I go to this other site, and they got this application process. So I fill out the app. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see how all this goes. And they go, we'll get back to you in a couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in no rush. But I'm listening to myself, and I'm feeling myself, and I'm being urged, and I can feel something coming up here. And I'm really good and getting better all the time at following that in me, even if it sounds crazy, even if it doesn't make any sense. I don't care. I don't need logic. I don't need good common sense, any of that. All I need to do is trust. And I do. I got to tell you guys, and ladies and gentlemen, I trust absolutely in that inner voice in me, and it's never wrong. And so it's going, okay, now let's keep going. So I got on Craigslist. And I got on Craigslist at midnight because I wasn't asleep. I'm on Craigslist at midnight looking at dogs. And lo and behold, 5 minutes before I got on Craigslist, somebody put up a dog. A little puppy. This little puppy almost looked like a stuffed animal. It was just this little puff of poodle fur. And I thought, that's the cutest dog I've ever seen. Oh my God. So so on Craigslist, you send a little thing, and so I sent a little thing, saying, oh, okay, I'm interested in a dog. Let's check this out. And they get back to me the next morning, which is now Friday morning, saying, well, come check out the dog. And we set up a time at 11 a.m., and I go over there, and I check out the dog. I'm sitting there on the ground, and this little ball of fur it's a puppy with puppy energy. And it's jumping all over the place. And it's here, and it's there, and it's there, and it's there. And I got 2 cats at home, and I'm going, whoa. I got 2 mature cats at home, and this thing's there. But inside, there's this thing that's just going, yes. Just going, yes. I'm going, yes. Look at this thing. It's pumping all over the place. But I trust. So I say, I'll take it. And so the woman who had the dog picks up the dog, puts it in my arms, and the second I hold the dog, it calms down. It just flat out like that. I'm like, holy cow. This thing was just a second ago jumping all over the place. And so I bring it home, and if Ash takes one look at the dog, it goes, oh my God! So I'm like, okay, this isn't my first rodeo with puppies. I know the training, I know the drill, and so we get all the stuff, the crates and all this different stuff, and I begin, and I start walking the dog like almost every hour, and I start what's called follow training, which is simply you walk and you don't look at the dog, and the dog's got to, that way, find out where you are and follow you. And this dog is so smart that within 2 hours, it's following me. Man, it's on me. It's on me it's like right there the whole time, like right there. And so we're walking and we had 3 accidents within the first 4 hours at the house. We haven't had one since. Now I'm talking, this is Friday, right? On Saturday, before I brought the dog here, I continued just working with the dog, and now this thing, Buddy, I named it Buddy. It's my little buddy. Is now following me all over the place. So now we got that part handled, and all of a sudden, and so one of the toys I got it was a ball, because I always wanted a dog that would fetch. Now this dog is a little puppy. It's like 3.5 months. I know, I'm thinking this is going to take a while to work all this out. The first time I throw the ball, he gets it and brings it back. I throw it again. I'm thinking that's got to be an accident. I throw it again. It gets it, brings it back. And all of a sudden this morning, I'm showing Ash, look at this. Look at this. The thing just gets the ball and brings it back. Just like that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I could have missed this dog. I mean, this dog is like the most perfect dog for me I could have ever found. And the thing about that is that's how life works. When we trust ourselves, when we follow that part of ourselves that doesn't make any sense, because our sense can't know this stuff. The deeper part of us beyond our sense does. I could have looked at that dog and said, no way, it's bouncing all over the place. My cats are going to cream this dog. So that's the other thing, right? We read up on how you connect the dog with the cats and do all that stuff. This was Friday. Last night, I'm sitting with the dog and the cats, and they're all like together like they've been buddies forever. I didn't even know that was possible. But anything's possible when we follow that inner part of us that trusts that way. Because that's the key, is how much are we willing to trust? And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, another miracle. To have this dog show up this way, in this, have me look 5 minutes after, I guarantee somebody was going to grab this dog. And I was the first one who got to see it. By the way, Buddy is here, and afterwards I'm going to bring him down to the social hall so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So for anybody who's met Buddy, he's just kind of went, oh, he's so cute, So you'll get to now do that too. And it's amazing what's possible when we open to that deeper part of ourselves and trust it. Talk about a change in our lives. We now have a dog. That's a big change. One I thought was going to take months of research and all this stuff. And all of a sudden it just kind of bubbled up in me and boom, 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 done. And that's what I notice. That's what I notice all the time in my life, is my willingness to wait until it bubbles up. And once it bubbles up, be curious, follow that yearning without making any decisions until it's all of a sudden right before your eyes and you go, oh, of course. Because that's how it works. There is an oh, of course. The second I saw this dog's picture, it was, oh, of course. That's my dog. I knew it before I met him. Then we just played out the scenarios you play out until he's now in our home, and at the moment he's in my office, and and that's how that works. But it works that way with every change, everything that's going on. It's not like it works sometimes. Because that was a dog, so it works for that, but it doesn't work for health. It doesn't work for relationships. It doesn't work for money. It doesn't work for this or that. It works for everything. The exact same way. That's the beauty of it. When we trust, change is inevitable. What's possible here is your personal belief and trust in your inner knowing to help you be curious, to guide you to the highest and best that is available for you. I see it all the time for myself. And I see it all the time for others who are following this path this deeply. It takes quite a commitment, I got to tell you. This did not come upon me easily. I have spent a life of being pretty rigid about how I want things to be. Maybe some of you can relate to some of that. But I have learned that when I let my rigidity go and just sit in the truth and the trust that what comes up is far greater than I could have ever experienced. I have a dog that is far greater than I could. He's already healing. I started to teach him how to sit, and by accident, I was talking to my wife and said a different word that's close to that. And the dog sat anyway. And it's only been 3 days. We're talking 3 days. This dog's miraculous. That's what's possible in any circumstance if we believe, if we trust, and we have the commitment to go with that. Have the commitment. Be willing to dare to trust. Be willing to allow change to occur at its proper time, not what you think is the proper time. Ride it. Be curious. There's something there that's brilliant, that's absolutely brilliant for you in each and every change that is occurring, that is inevitable. That's what's possible. I love you. Thank you. All right. This is the part of our program where we pray on somebody. We need a volunteer. Come on down. Come on, Janae. Come on down. Tell us all what you want us to pray for.
I just ask for prayer on how to remain in peace and have just a strong mind for the situation that I'm currently navigating, because it's starting to affect my personality, and I don't like that. So
there you go. How about if we pray for your highest and best?
yes.
Right? And in a peaceful way. All right. All right, we need 8 to 10 to put hands on this lovely woman. All right, what we do now is we take a deep breath, close our eyes, and relax. And as always, we start within our own hearts. We feel that place within our own hearts of love, light, divine power, peace, healing. Now we allow that to expand throughout our entire bodies, so that we experience our own peace, our own magnificence, love, healing. And now we expand that to include the whole room. Knowing our spiritual family is right here with us. For you online, join us right here. Feel the power. Allow yourself to feel that healing energy of spiritual community. And now we send it down. We send it right into Janae. Knowing for her, her peace, her joy, her wisdom, knowing her highest and best, knowing her life is unfolding magnificently beyond her wildest dreams. Knowing for her miracles, blessings, love, beauty. And I am so grateful for the power and presence of our spiritual family, our spiritual community right here and now. I am grateful for the courage and wonder and magnificence of Janae as she stands here accepting our love, our healing light in this moment. As we know the truth of who she is, and we know the truth for ourselves. As we release this and all say together, and so it is. All right. Good, good, good. And that is the power of spiritual family. Thank you for joining us here, all here today. It's that time. Take out what you're going to give. Hold it in your hand. Unfold it. Doesn't matter if it's $1, $10, $100, $1,000, deeds of property, gold mines, it does not matter. Hold it in your hand because its power, its presence, as we all say together, God is the source of all supply. Money is God in action. What I give, I receive multiplied abundantly. All that God is, I am, and so it is.